Shipping goods internationally involves a network of processes and costs. One crucial aspect is understanding Incoterms, which define responsibilities and costs for buyers and sellers. This essay focuses on FOB, or free on board, Karachi to Jebel Ali, outlining the cost breakdown and responsibilities involved in shipping a 20-foot standard container on this route. FOB Karachi means the seller is responsible for all costs and risks until the goods are loaded onto the ship at Karachi port. This includes inland transportation, export customs clearance and loading charges at Karachi. Once the goods are on board, the risk and responsibility transfer to the buyer. Understanding these terms is crucial for both buyers and sellers to avoid unexpected costs and delays. This essay will provide a clear and concise explanation of each cost involved in shipping a 20-foot standard container from Karachi to Jebel Ali on an FOB basis. In international trade, clearly defining the roles of the shipper or seller and the consignee or buyer is essential. This clarity ensures smooth transactions and avoids disputes regarding financial obligations. Under FOB Karachi terms, the shipper in Karachi is responsible for all costs, up to the point the goods are loaded onto the vessel. This includes inland transportation to the port, export customs clearance, and loading charges at the origin terminal. The consignee in Jebel Ali assumes responsibility once the goods are loaded onto the ship in Karachi. This means they are responsible for all costs from that point forward, including ocean freight, insurance, destination terminal handling charges, import customs clearance, and delivery to their warehouse. A clear understanding of these responsibilities is vital for both parties to accurately budget for their respective costs. It also facilitates a smoother shipping process, with less confusion and potential for disagreements. Origin Terminal Handling Charges, or OTHC, are fees levied by the port terminal at the origin, in this case, Karachi. These charges cover the cost of handling the container within the port before it is loaded onto the ship. This includes receiving the container from the shipper, moving it within the terminal, storage, and the final loading onto the vessel. OTHC is typically charged per container and varies based on the terminal operator and the type of container. For a 20-foot standard container in Karachi, OTHC can range from price range, depending on the terminal. Under FOB Karachi terms, the shipper is responsible for paying the OTHC. This is because the responsibility for the goods, and therefore the associated costs, lies with the shipper until the container is loaded onto the ship. Understanding OTHC is important for the shipper to factor in these costs when calculating their total export expenses. Failure to account for OTHC can lead to unexpected expenses and potential delays in shipment. Just as the origin port has handling charges, the destination port, Jebel Ali in this case, also charges destination terminal handling charges, or DTHC. DTHC covers the costs incurred by the terminal operator in handling the container once it arrives at the destination port and is discharged from the vessel. DTHCC includes costs for unloading the container from the ship, moving it within the terminal, storage until pickup, and any documentation processing related to the container at the terminal. DTHC is usually charged per container and varies depending on the terminal operator and the type of container. For a 20-foot standard container in Jebel Ali, DTHC can range from price range depending on the terminal. Under FOB Karachi terms, the consignee is responsible for paying the DTHC. This is because the responsibility for the goods, and therefore the associated costs, transfers to the consignee once the container is loaded onto the ship at the origin port. Section 5. Additional charges at origin more than just loading the ship. Besides OTHC, several other charges are associated with shipping a container from the origin port. These charges cover various services necessary to get the container ready for its journey. LOLO charges. LOLO stands for lift-on, lift-off, which refers to the process of loading and unloading the container from the truck to the terminal and vice versa. LOLO charges are levied by the terminal operator for using their cranes and equipment, These charges are usually included in the OTHC but can sometimes be separate, especially if the shipper uses a different trucking company not affiliated with the terminal. Seal charges. A container seal is a tamper-proof device used to secure the container doors during transit. It ensures the security of the goods and provides proof that the container hasn't been tampered with. Seal charges cover the cost of the seal itself and the service of applying it to the container. These charges are typically nominal and are usually the shipper's responsibility under FOB terms. Documentation charges. International shipping involves a lot of paperwork, and documentation charges cover the preparation and processing of these documents. These may include the bill of lading, packing list, commercial invoice, certificate of origin, and any other required certificates or permits. The party responsible for documentation charges can vary depending on the agreement between the shipper and consignee, but under FOB terms, the shipper typically handles these costs at the origin. Bunker Adjustment Factor, BAF. Fuel costs are a significant component of ocean freight charges. The Bunker Adjustment Factor, BAF, allows shipping lines to adjust their freight rates in response to fluctuations in fuel prices. BAF is usually calculated as a percentage of the base ocean freight rate and can fluctuate frequently. Under FOB Karachi terms, the BAF is typically the consignee's responsibility. These additional charges at the origin are essential components of the overall shipping cost. Both shippers and consignees need to be aware of these charges and understand their respective responsibilities to avoid any surprises or disagreements later. Section 6. Charges at destination, the final costs before delivery. Once the container arrives at the destination port of Jebel Ali, there are several charges the consignee needs to be prepared for before taking delivery of the goods. DTHC reminder. As discussed earlier, DTHC is the responsibility of the consignee under FOB terms and covers the costs incurred by the terminal operator for handling the container at the destination port. Delivery order fee. A delivery order, DO, is a document issued by the shipping line to the consignee or their authorized representative that allows them to take delivery of the container from the terminal. The DO fee covers the administrative costs associated with issuing the DO and processing the release of the container. This fee is usually the consignee's responsibility under FOB terms. Demurrage and detention. Demurrage and detention are charges that can accrue if the consignee doesn't pick up the container from the terminal within the allotted free time. Demurrage refers to charges for using the terminal space beyond the free time, while detention refers to charges for using the shipping line's container beyond the free time. These charges are meant to encourage the quick turnaround of containers and prevent congestion at the port. Under FOB terms, the consignee is responsible for any demurrage or detention charges that may apply. Port charges and documentation handling. Destination ports may have additional charges for services like wharfage, use of the wharf, harbour dues, use of the harbour, and documentation handling fees for processing import documents. These charges can vary depending on the port and are usually the consignee's responsibility under FOB terms. Understanding these destination charges is crucial for the consignee to factor them into their overall import costs and ensure a smooth and timely pickup of their goods from the port. Section 7. Example, freight calculation, putting it all together. Let's illustrate the cost breakdown for shipping a 20-foot standard container from Karachi to Jebel Ali on FOB terms using hypothetical figures. Shippers costs, Karachi. Inland transportation, Karachi. $200 export customs clearance, $50 OTHC, Karachi. $150 LOLO charges, $50 seal charges, $10 documentation charges, $60. Total shippers cost, $520. Consignees cost, Jebel Ali. Ocean freight, $1,200. BAF, $250. Insurance, $80 DTHC. Jebel Ali, $200 delivery order. Fee $40, demurrage detention if applicable. $100 port charges and documentation handling, $70 total consignees cost, $1,940 total shipping cost, Karachi to Jebel Ali. $2,460. Please note these figures are for illustrative purposes only. Actual costs may vary depending on factors like the time of year, market conditions, and specific service providers. Section 8. Summary F.O.B Karachi to Jebel Ali at a glance. Shipping on F.O.B Karachi terms means the shipper in Karachi is responsible for all costs and risks until the goods are loaded onto the ship, while the consignee in Jebel Ali is responsible for all costs and risks from that point forward. Shipper's responsibilities: Karachi. Inland transportation to Karachi Port Export Customs. Clearance, OTHC, origin terminal handling charges, LOLO charges, seal charges, documentation, charges, consignees responsibilities, Jebel Ali, ocean freight, BAF bunker adjustment factor. Insurance, DTHC, destination terminal handling charges, delivery order fee, demurrage and detention, if applicable. Port charges and documentation handling. Understanding these responsibilities and the associated costs is crucial for both shippers and consignees to accurately budget, avoid unexpected expenses, and ensure a smooth and successful shipping experience.